Hello, in this second video about the Mystery Beast, I'm going to show you how to draw the legs and anything else that you want to add on to it. So as you can see from this picture here, our Mystery Beast has two sets of legs, but what I want you to notice is that if you look over in this picture here, which more resembles the drawing, is that the legs are symmetrical, which means that this side here is exactly the same as that side there. And when you do the drawing, what you actually end up doing is you draw one half of the leg set like this, just on this half here, and then we will copy it and flip it and join it together. And by doing that, you end up having it be exactly the same on both sides. And when they're exactly the same on both sides, as you can see from this drawing here, they'll stand up better. They'll be more balanced. Also with with this particular Mystery Beast, our add-on was a set of horns. You could have arms, you could have wings, you could have something crazy and unknown, whatever it is you want to have on there. But also with the add-on in this case, I chose to do mine symmetrical. So what I did was I drew one half of it first, I copied it, I moved it over, I flipped it around, and I joined it on, so that it was exactly the same on both sides. The legs should be exactly the same on both sides so that they stand up nice and evenly. But the add-on pieces don't need to be exactly symmetrical on both sides. They can be one side going up and the other side going down, or whatever you want. Okay, let's go back to the drawing that we started in the first video. So here's my beautiful body that I drew here, and I'm going to go to the select button. Remember now that the black square is the size of the wood that you're going to be using in the laser cutter. So you want to use as much of that space as you can, but at the same time you want to make sure you have room to do other things like legs and other add-ons. So you can move this around, you can scale it if you want it to be a bit smaller, like this, whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to just squish mine up just a little bit, so that I've got more room down here to draw some legs. I'm going to use the same tool that I used to draw the body. I'm going to use the freehand line drawing tool right here, which is the picture of the pencil. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to come down like this, and maybe set a leg and do some sort of a foot thing like that, and maybe I'll do like a claw thing at the bottom of the foot and come up like that and go like this. And again, just like with the body, you want to end up back where you started. So you take the drawing to where you started, and there'll be a box there. When you're on that box, it'll go red, and that's when you can let go, and you'll be like this. Now, I've drawn nicer legs before for sure. That's pretty crazy, but I'm going to go to the editing button, and I want to smooth it out a little bit, so I'm going to just draw a box around these two nodes. And I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to hit the minus sign, and I'm going to get rid of them, and that'll smooth that out a bit. And I don't need that node, so I'm going to get rid of that, and that smooths it out a bit. And I don't need that node, and that'll smooth it out a little bit. And I don't need that node, and that'll smooth it out a little bit. Okay, so maybe I decide I want to go up a big like this, and maybe like this, and maybe like that. You want the middle top part here to have a little bit of room up and down. I'll go back to the original picture and I'll show you why. Because this is where the slot is going to be. So if you don't have enough room this way, there won't be enough room when the body slides down onto that. So you want to make sure that you've got enough room up here. Okay. I'm going to say that that's exactly the way I want the leg to be, and I'm going to select it now, because right now I'm in the editing mode here, and I want to go up to the black arrow on the top and select it. Now that it's selected, I'm going to right-click, hold the cursor over it, and right-click, and I'm going to choose Duplicate. Okay, now I could just grab onto it. When you hit Duplicate, that makes a copy of it, but it places it right on top of the original. So if I grab it, I can move it around. However, when I move it, I want it to be exactly at the same level because I want it to flip it and join it back up again. So what I'm going to do is I've duplicated it, but I'm going to use the arrow buttons on my keyboard to move this over rather than my mouse. So I'm just dragging it over like this. Now I'm going to go up here and I'm going to flip it with this button right there. Now it's facing, and now I'm going to use the other arrow key and I'm going to draw it back. And I'm going to go back just enough so that it overlaps a bit, and I'll say something like that. Now I want to join these two sides so that it makes one set of legs, and I do that by drawing a box around both of them, and that selects them both. With both sides selected, I go up here to Path, the pull-down menu Path, and I go down to Union, which means joining together, and I click onto there, and voila, there I go, my mystery set of legs for my mystery beast. And even at this point, I might think, oh, I want it to be a little bit narrower, or not so high, or something like that. Now remember, you want two of these. If you don't mind your two sets of legs being exactly the same, you can select it. It's selected right now. I'm going to right click onto here, and I'm going to hit duplicate again, and now I can just pull that off, and now the laser will cut out two sets of legs. I think when I did this one here, you'll see that the back legs are a bit shorter than the front legs, but they're still pretty similar. And you can decide what you want to do with that. Okay, now I got to look at my whole drawing here and see how much space I have, so I'm going to move this down here so that it's in close with my legs, and that gives me more space up here. Maybe I'm going to do some type of a wing thing or something, so I'll as an add-on, I'm going to click onto my freehand drawing tool, and I will just draw something like this. And I'll go out like this, maybe in and out, in and out, in and out, go back to there, like that. Okay, and I'm going to hit my edit button here, and I'm going to get rid of these two nodes because that will probably help to smooth it out. And I might get rid of these three nodes there. Now I said you can go over here and hit that, and that will, but I also just hit the delete button on the keyboard, and that gets rid of them there as well. Okay. So to save us all a little bit of time, I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to go back to my select button because I don't want to be in edit mode right now. I'm going to be in my select button right here. And I'm going to right click it. I'm going to hit duplicate. I'm going to use the arrow on my keyboard to move that copy over. Like so. Now I'm going to use this button up here. Where is it? Right there to flip it. I'm going to use the other arrow key to move it back. And now I'm going to select both sides. You can drag a box around both of them to select them, or if you have one selected, you can just hold the shift button down and select the other one, and then you'll have both of them selected. So now I'm going to go to the Path pull-down menu, hit the Union button, and now I've got one set of wings or whatever I want. I'm going to just shorten it up just a little bit like this, so that it will fit in my drawing. And that's basically it. That's how you draw the legs or any sort of add-on. The way I drew them here, again, I'm using the freehand draw tool. You draw half of it at one time, but make sure you end up back where you started, so you have a complete circular shape, and then you get a duplicate of that, drag it out of the way, flip it, bring it back in so they're crossing over. Use the Path pull-down menu, and use the Union button to join them all together. One last thing you might want to do is give your beast an eye of some sort, and I would just, use my circle button here and drag the eye in like that, or however you want your eye to be. All right, I don't want that eye to be colored, so I'm going to get rid of the fill, but I do want it to have a line on the outside, so I'm going to put a line on it like that. And I'll just do this a bit so we can see it. Don't worry about the color. If you end up drawing something and there's a different color on it, I adjust all of that right before I cut it out on the laser. So it's all good. And this is it for the second video on how to draw the legs and anything else that you add on. In the third video, I will show you how they all connect together. That's it for now.